What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, for me personally, I didn't really enjoy Vanguard that much, but if there's one thing that I could really take away from that game in a positive way, it would have to be the combat pacing. You see, I'm a hardcore OG COD lover. Whenever I get tired of these other titles like Modern Warfare 2019 or Black Ops Cold War, Vanguard, when it really starts putting a lot of wear and tear on me, I always hop back to the classics like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, World at War, Call of Duty 4, because on PC, there's tons of modded lobbies that keep them populated, no cheaters, and they are just an absolute blast. But on a lot of these classic games, they extend the player count. The mods basically make it a classic ground war times maybe 2 times 3. You know what I'm saying? There's tons of players on these 6v6 maps. To be honest with you, I kind of get tired of the playstyle after some time because I do enjoy playing classic 6v6 in COD. But on the occasion, it's an absolute blast playing with possibly 40 players on some of these, 6v6 traditional Call of Duty maps. It's just absolute chaos. And putting it into Vanguard, I think, was a really good implementation because they didn't force it upon people. You can go back to 6v6 if you really wanted to, but it was in the rotation. So if you wanted to step out of the 6v6 boundaries and you wanted to experience more players without having to go to ground war, which was massive scaled maps, not in Vanguard. I think they added in, one ground war, big map or something like that. So I don't think they really focused on it in that game. But, in Modern Warfare 2019, you either went to ground war for more players or you stuck with 6v6. In Vanguard, you didn't have to go anywhere else besides stay on the original 6v6 maps and just up the combat pacing to add more players into the maps. I thought it was a really good thing because it allowed people who didn't like the style of maps that are in the game, who thought they were too large, to allow these maps to be filled up with a higher player count, to make it a little bit more active and less campy. And sometimes even, it's still campy, but at the end of the day, it's a more target-rich environment. I don't think many people hated this feature because it didn't really take anything away from the Call of Duty experience. It's not like Infinity Ward taking away the minimap and completely changing playstyles because of this, or, removing having a ninja perk or something of that sort and making it a lot more complex with very loud footsteps in their game. It's not like those game mechanic designs. This is just something that adds to the experience, adds more variety. And some can argue that maybe it increased queue times because, you have different people searching for different things, so it's going to make queue times a bit longer. But from my personal experience, I didn't play that much Vanguard, but I chimed in every few months or so. 3-4 months, I might have hopped in a couple or a few times to see what's going on. And every single time, I did not have a problem, with matchmaking and finding lobbies with combat pacing across the board. I think it was a really good feature and allowed people to play however they wanted to do so. And I am just completely shocked. I really am. And I think a lot of other people are shocked as well to see that Infinity Ward did not even try to bother adding this feature into Modern Warfare 2. It wouldn't need any changing. It's, a very simple implementation. It didn't have to affect the map designs. It didn't have to, affect any aspect of the game. It just increases the player count on the already current made 6v6 maps. Like I said, there's mods for every old school classic COD game on PC that do this on a daily basis. This is not anything insane to introduce into the game. And I'll be real with you guys. I enjoy the maps in Modern Warfare 2. Obviously, hot take. I have all hot takes here on this channel. You can hate me or love me. It's whatever. It's up to you. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to speak the truth about how I feel about this game. And that's how I feel. I enjoy the map designs. I can push. I can flank. I can play the playstyles I want to play. Some of them are a little worse than others, but compared to MW 2019, I would definitely take this bunch over that bunch. But across the board, I've been seeing a lot of people on the internet that really do not enjoy the map selection that we have with the Modern Warfare 2. And in my opinion, that's, completely understandable. There's a lot of Treyarch fans out there. You have to understand, Call of Duty is not just one single style of game. It's many different styles of games. You have Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and sometimes Sledgehammer brings their own take, but not very frequently anymore. But Treyarch has always made very, tight, 3-lane styled maps, mostly all about gunplay, one-on-one action. Their games are very competitive. And that's what a lot of people want out of, the Modern Warfare experience. They want more tighter 3-lane maps, very simplistic lanes, so you know where the action's going to be at. You can understand and predict pretty much all of your gunfights, so it really just comes on gun-on-gun action. They want that out of this game, so I get where you're coming from. But from an Infinity Ward perspective, it's not too shabby. Thinking of all the classics we had back in the day, things like, a lot of people want to see Afghan come back into Modern Warfare 2 that you see here. That map was pretty darn big. There's tons of camping spots on Afghan, but like I said, it flowed pretty fun. It depends on the player base and the people who are in the game. If you are versing campers, it's going to suck. If you're versing people who want to play around, it's going to be a pretty darn good time. Same thing with stuff like Favela. Everybody wants Favela to come in, but nobody wants any, heights, any buildings, no doors. The map is packed with that, minus the doors, of course. But, there's so many different rooftops. You can jump across all of them. I mean, that was a massive advertisement point. In the Modern Warfare 2 OG 2009, what was it, the multiplayer trailer? Hopping across all the rooftops. That was a massive selling point. Even Invasion, another fan favorite map from Modern Warfare 2, the whole backside of that map has a huge palace, an absolutely massive palace in the back. Current date, that would be considered a safe space. Back then, nobody would even think of it as being a safe space, as a stupid camping spot. Yeah, people did camp there, but there was so much fun to be had on that map. So many funny engagements, or just crazy engagements, just exciting moments that you don't even think about those things within those maps. When you get a good lobby, everything flows nicely. And that's what I feel in Modern Warfare 2 right here. When you get a good lobby, everything flows nicely. Back in 2019, someone could completely lock down a building and hold it down with multiple claymores or shoddies or anything of that sort. Or, camping was insane in 2019. Right here, even with the louder footsteps, I want them toned down. I really do. But I find myself able to flank more frequently. And I really do appreciate that. But, having combat pacing would improve this game significantly for everybody out there across the board. The people who want that fast-paced Treyarch vibe, those people who want the tighter lanes or more action, it might be hard to get that out of these maps. I understand where you're coming from. But combat pacing allowed those individuals to at least get more action. So when they do push those angles, there's more of a flow. There's more enemies filling up these spots instead of spending time trying to lurk around and learn the map. Now, again, like I said, it all comes with map awareness, map knowledge. When you understand all the spawns and the locations that you need to go to, flank to, push, especially in OBJ game modes, you can flow throughout the map in 6v6 and find enemies, but it's not easy if you don't completely understand the map design, if you don't enjoy the map design, especially. If you hate the maps, you're not going to have that much fun, and that's going to be a hard challenge to overcome. But combat pacing is almost like a cheat code for people who don't like the maps, because you don't really necessarily have to learn the map at that point, because every single lane is stuffed with enemies. You could push the left side, the middle, the right side. It doesn't matter where you go. There's going to be, multiple, like 3-4 different enemies right there ready for a gunfight. It can kind of give individuals a way to tolerate the game, because right now there's no way to tolerate this game for anybody who doesn't just, like the playstyle. Again, me personally, I'm enjoying it, but I do want the game to be enjoyable for everybody across the board. This is Call of Duty. It's supposed to be fair for everybody. Rushers, campers, stealth players, OBJ players. It doesn't matter your playstyle. Everything should be accessible. Everything should be countered. Everything should be fun. It's COD, So I really hope they add combat pacing back in the future here. It's not something that's hard to implement, and I think that it will really help the overall experience, and it'll pack up these maps. Just thinking about maps like Embassy, for example, and doubling to tripling the player count on that map, how intense the building fights would be, breaching and clearing throughout the Embassy, and actually fighting on the outskirts, going to the rooftops, going out to the parking lot, it will all feel so much more insane, There would be action across the board. Now, the spawns will probably be awful, on all the maps, because the spawns are really bad in 6v6 to begin with, but, they'll be fixed later on, and you should just expect that when you're playing a stupidly, overpopulated mode on a small-styled map. You should just expect that already if you want to go into that type of experience. Or El Asalo, I believe is how you pronounce it. That map, again, once I learned to kind of just use SMGs and shoddies on that map, stick to the insides, the building, don't really worry about going to the outskirts, trying to flank that much, just maintain building dominance. Once I learned that, it became a little bit more fun, but just thinking about, once again, doubling to tripling the player count, the actual engagements inside that building would be intense because the building itself is split into almost a fortress format. There's one side and there's another, defensive battles. And then, of course, there's all of the outside as well. And I really feel if they double or triple the player count, you will find more people on the outskirts. There will be more action for people who want to flank around the outsides, play more of a AR or sniper rifle role. Because, yeah, it is fun to use sniper rifles on that map. There are good angles. But in all reality, like I said, the majority of the fights are on the insides. If you want a lot of action, you go inside with the SMG or Shoddy. Or I guess you can run an AR as well. I think upping the player count would really make the map more replayable for pretty much all of the player base. I think this across the board for all the maps would really help. But again, let me know what you guys think, because this is just my opinion. Obviously, I'm not correct. You guys aren't correct. Nobody's correct. These all come down at the end of the day to opinions. It's just fun to share opinions, right? I think it's pretty enjoyable to rant about stuff, or rave about stuff, whatever you want to do. I think it's really enjoyable. So make sure you go down in the comment section and leave your opinions on what you think about combat pacing and if you think it should be introduced back into Modern Warfare 2. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. Bumps, I hate it. Leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me, this is to reduce our Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch. Link that's in the description as well. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you all next one. Peace out.